Tigers, I have with me Gaanesh Tyagi, who's been our analysis for the second season in Montreal Tigers. Pretty much a backbone of the team, has made a lot of important decisions that we can definitely see the success with, especially with winning a trophy last year and getting pretty close to it this year. How's the journey first off with Montreal Tigers been and being in Canada?
It's absolutely fantastic. When we were here last season also, had a lot of fun, and the fun continues.
Last season honestly was a lot of fun, and we definitely see that it's that same environment we've brought back to the camp. But walk me through, like, let's say the draft. We made some important decisions. We retained some players, and then we built a team around them, right? So we knew what we did last year. We won the trophy, so this plan that you guys had, was successful. So obviously there were some changes that needed to be made based off of even how the conditions are here.
Yep.
And you guys did that, and so far it's been working out well because we are table toppers.
Yes. So basically, the most important thing was to have a core, and we were the only team to retain 5 players. None of the other teams retained it. So the core was there. 6 we could not retain because he was not available. So the core was already there. So depending on the core, we had to just fill in the gaps to make sure that we have good bowling lineup as well as batting lineup. Yes, the plans from last year and this year have changed. It's because of the condition. The second season was there. It was a very high scoring season, but the last season wasn't a high scoring season. So that's the reason why we had to change our lineup accordingly, and have to make sure that we had multiple players playing 2-dimensional or 3-dimensional roles, bowling, batting as well as fielding, to give us the depth that is required.
And especially when it comes to, I think, picking players, like the way you and coach kind of had been working preseason. I mean, looking at players' availability, especially during this time where there's so many, tournaments going on, right? To make sure, that we have enough players, let's say, because we did have some players that came in from MLC, that might have missed those first 2 games, but still having someone who can fill in that place. We saw other teams struggle with that. But for us, from like match day 1, even when we weren't at our full squad, we started doing well. So that showed, our bench strength as well, where any player can be switched. And I know this is something I probably told you so many times, about like not having, let's say, a big name, right? So, walk through that, about picking these players, maybe even players a lot of people might have not really heard about because they're not in the news as much.
Correct. So basically what my role is basically to understand what is needed for a team. It's basically which player fits in the middle role or at the end or whatever that is, depending on what slot he comes in the draft also. So it is you will not always get a big name for sure, and had to make sure that the player are available throughout the season. Last season we just had one change which was pre-decided, but this year we had injuries. There were other competition which came in, due to which the NOCs and everything were revoked, and we had to find replacements. But we were able to do like replacements. This league is different than the other leagues because in other leagues you have 4 international, but here you have international as well as the associates. So if you had to change around, you had to have some like replacements, and that was my plan, to have like replacement. If your international is going, you can have an associate replacing him, and vice versa, to make sure that the playing 11 is sufficient and the captain has good options mainly.
And I mean, so far it's been great. We are at the top of the table. We've lost 1 game, and I think going hopefully inches away from the trophy.
Yeah, that's the plan. I mean, one of the games we all wish, and we were like 32 for 5, and from winning from that position was actually absolutely fantastic. None of the teams would have done that. We were able to do it. So that shows the depth in the batting lineup, and that's where our focus, as well as batting as well as bowling. Like, we have 7 bowling options minimum. We also have 1 or 2 extra if needed, but we bat till number 9 or 10.
Exactly. Now, if we kind of talk about, maybe back in the day, but what made you get into this?
Basically, I had 2 passions. One is cricket and one is IT. So this was a perfect marriage of both. So it was very easy choice for me at that time. But at that time, the path was not defined. It's not a clear path that you do this and get into it. Had to struggle a little, but here I am.
Now, for that, I mean, was it something you went and studied, or how was it back then? I know nowadays they have some courses, a lot of technology options as well to kind of aid. But when you started off, like, what was it kind of like, and how did you go about it?
So the most important thing that I tell it to any budding analyst is basically you need to forget the software, forget everything. You just need to have the game sense. The game, when I say game sense, is basically watching the games, understanding, putting yourself in the captain or the coach's position, and understanding what if you were the captain or if you were the coach, which would be the next bowler that will bowl in, or which would be the next batter that will bat in. That if you get that game sense, or you understand, oh, this is the make or break over, that is where the majority of things are solved. And the rest are basically add-ons where you learn a lot of things, a lot of softwares are available and all those things. But having that game sense, having the depth of knowledge in regards to cricket, know the laws of cricket. I'm a certified umpire, so that helped also to knowing the laws of cricket, because if you're an analyst, if something goes on, they have to refer to the playing conditions, and you need to know how to read the playing conditions. So that also helps basically. So there are a lot of factors which have helped me. There were games where I was sitting out and doing scorings also, and that has helped me now. So those are things, but I would say majorly under having that game sense, that helps. And then as you are doing, I mean the soft as nowadays, as you said, there are a lot of educations available. You do those, get the certification, and then get into the system.
Okay. Now, what does your work usually look like? Before a game day. I mean, I know we get all the messages, all the stats. Kind of, so walk us through, like, what kind of homework you need to do. Especially you get video clips and everything. So how do you go about doing that, and kind of how does that help the players?
So you're talking pre-match, right?
Yeah.
So basically pre-match, let's say we are playing tomorrow, we are playing Brampton. So what I would do, I'll have video capsules of the batters and the bowlers. The batters video capsule will be against different types of bowling options, as in left arm spinner, left arm pacer, right arm off spinner, right arm leg spinner. The videos will be divided into that. It will be like a 1 minute video, which would have the dismissals, the uncomfortable balls, and the boundary balls against each category of bowlers. And those videos will be posted in the group. Like if I'm a right arm pacer, I just need to watch the right arm pacer bowlers. I don't have to worry about the left arm pacer or the leg spinner. And so it is very very specific in regards to it. If you're a batter and you need to check a bowler, all bowlers videos are available.
Yeah.
Again, in different categories it's available. Saying that is basically and we need to select the ball which has to be shown.
Yeah.
As in basically the different variation of bowler is bowling, or if a batter is his go-to shot against that particular bowler.
Yeah.
Then comes the Excel, the PDF that comes with the matchups, the probable 11, what is the batter likely to do in that in the first phase, in the second phase, in the third phase, what is his go-to shot, where he has scored the maximum number of runs, which is the area that you should have a best fielder against that batsman. Some batsmen like long on you'll have, for some batsmen you will have a deep point or backward point. So where would you have the best fielder fielding in that position? That's important.
Okay.
And once that's done, the captain also knows that these are the areas that has to be protected, and that is what we do. This is what we do pre-match. But the pre-match doesn't happen a day before.
Yeah.
The work starts 1 month before.
Yeah.
Because to do all these videos and stats, it takes a lot of time.
Absolutely. And then match day, kind of, what kind of goes on in your role during the game?
So during the match day, my primary role is to understand what's happening on the pitch. First of all, after the toss is done, we get the opposition playing 11, mark out the bowlers, who are the likely bowlers for them, which is the bowler will bowl in which phase, which is the bowler that can be targeted, or which is off, is not currently in a good form that can be targeted, or which bowler is good form. Yeah. How is variations, just have it with you handy. Because if a batter is going in and if you ask, they keep on asking, what does he bowl, gets in, what's the slower one, all those things come in. And in which phase he's likely to be hit, which phase is likely to be bowling well, all this comes in handy when you get the playing 11. Once the game starts, basically we keep on tagging. Like per ball we have 16 tags. The tags are basically where the ball pitched, what was the height of it, where the shot was played, who fielded it, how he fielded, how he threw, how many runs were scored, whether there was overthrown, all that, like 16 tags which goes on it. And you collect that data. and during that time you understand what's happening on the pitch. You convey it to the coach, the captain, that this is what is happening on the pitch, what would be the probable score that might happen on that pitch. Apart from that, you will have to forecast who would be the next bowler they will get in, then forecast what are they planning in field. If you see something which is happening, you see that this is what they're going to plan, or this is what they're going to, so that you can send a message out saying that, oh, this is what they will try, kind of a thing. And same way, if you're bowling, you see a batter batting, you see certain weakness that he's trying to target an area. Again, that communication is important. And then, as I said, the game sense which comes in, where you understand that at this over something might make or break, or something is happening. That is where the impact comes in.
Okay. Now, last year, we had an X factor that was there. Sherfane Rutherford.
Yeah.
Maybe didn't perform I would say maybe at his best, in those games, but especially when it counted, he really showed and became MVP.
Yep.
Who do you think this year has really impressed you in that terms, where you were like, this is the player I want to get, and they've kind of really maybe fulfilled what you expected or even more?
I would say in regards to Canadian, I was very impressed with Dilpreet this year. Last year he showed glimpses of things. They would get a 20-30 and get out. He was a development player last year. He had not represented Canada last year, and it's been 1 year. He's played for Canada. He's got his confidence up.
Played the
World Cup. He's got his confidence up, and now you see the change that has come in. So that is one thing that I've seen in regards to that player has actually impressed me, and impressed a lot of people around, just not us.
Yeah.
So that one player is something. And in regards to bowler, you will have Omarzai, who's he's still an upcoming bowler in regards to the international circuit, but it has been doing quite well. And the little fellow, Ayan, how can you keep him out of the picture? I mean, it's always, if you see, our team is more of a collective effort, where everybody is helping each other in some or the other department and making sure that the team is winning.
Yeah, which I think is what's important, right? Because I think we have someone who steps up in every game. Which is why we've gone from losing 4 to 5 wickets in a power play, and then being able to get there, getting a good total on the board and being able to win from that. So it definitely has shown, right, that everyone that's gone in and kind of played their role and really show that they want to be here. They're all looking hungry to win.
Yeah.
You could see that on the field.
Yes, actually.
Now, for you, when it comes to, let's say, international cricket, who's someone that impresses you, and why? When it comes to when you're doing your work and stuff, and when you actually look at that person play, let's say a batsman, who's someone that really impresses you, where it's even if you think of doing all these stats and kind of doing the research, but he's someone who's just I don't know, always kind of maybe even changing the way he plays, or just kind of keeping you on your toes?
So I would take a name which is Surya Kumar Yadav. The good part is that he was always on my side, so I didn't have to worry about planning against him. But I have seen him before he debut for India, and I've been with him, lucky enough to be there, and lucky enough when he got the call, I was around, so to know that he's got selected for India. But he is one player who has changed his game drastically, and it's very difficult in T20 cricket to make plans against him because he has got multiple shots. And he creates shots. I mean, if you've seen the IPL, one shot over, the third man was even the master was thinking about shot. How was he able to get it over there? So he's the one player, he keeps on innovating how to score runs and everything. You've seen in the World Cup, the fielding has always helped in regards to winning the World Cup. But that is one player that I have seen improve over the years, and he's still striving to do something or the other. And especially, he's not a batter who comes in the power play. He's the batter who comes after power play. So 7 to 15 is the one that he keeps on targeting, and he's a king in that area. And that's why he's normally the number one batter would be somebody in the top who's playing the top 6 overs. But he's 7 to 15 and getting the number one is something that has to be, he's got that X factor, I would say.
Okay. Yeah, no, definitely, no doubt about that. Now, you've been racking up trophies, literally racking up trophies, so what are some goals you have for yourself? Let's say, whether it's working somewhere or just anything that you would like to see for you to do in your career.
So definitely, I mean, as a child, you always wanted to have the Indian jersey. As a player, I could not, but as a support staff, I would love to have that. Apart from that, the plan is always to be in the IPL. I'm doing some back end work for some
Yeah.
IPL franchisee, but the front end work is something that I'm looking forward
Okay.
to. Plus, making sure that I'm doing various leagues around the world, so that I'm uh, touring the places,
Yeah.
enjoying cricket, meeting cricketers. I mean, it's like a dream job. Touch
Yeah.
wood.
Yeah. No, definitely. And what's some advice you want to give to, youngsters? I feel like, maybe when you started off, maybe it wasn't really a career plan people looked into, but now I see that, a lot of people are trying to get into this.
Okay, in regards to analysis?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, sometimes people get too far into analysis. As an analyst, I would say if I'm able to get 30-40% of the things right, I'm more than happy. It's like 100% for me that I'm able to put in for the team. So 30 or 40%, 40 is the max I would say that I'm looking to target. But if I get 30, I'm pretty happy with things. So that is one expectation that people should have, that as an analyst, you cannot predict the whole game.
Yeah.
Secondly, winning and losing, we are just assisting the team. It's not us who are doing it, it's the players who are doing it. So we need to make sure. You were saying that me like ranking up the trophies, it's actually the players who are doing it. So the main emphasis goes on the players. We are just there, as the name says, such as support staff. We're just there to support them, and that's it is. I forgot the question. What was the question?
Yeah. So what's like advice you want to give?
The advice is See, advice is basically, if you want to be an analyst, you need to watch games. Like I said earlier, keep on watching games. Keep on putting yourself in the place of a captain or the coach. Get that game sense. Having that game sense will always help you. And I would say go umpire in local matches. When you want to start umpiring, you understand of the line and length which is being bowled by the bowlers. What is the bowler doing? What kind of spin he's having? Because if you are a player, that's a different perspective than an umpire's perspective. Umpire, you're watching straight. You don't have camera, so at least go in club games and do umpiring, so you have that perspective of seeing the game from that angle, because that is the angle that's gonna give you what's happening of the pitch. Playing cricket, if you have played cricket at the highest level or whichever level that you have, that always helps. But that is one thing that you need to develop us watching cricket. Watching cricket and playing cricket is two different things. Secondly, if you are looking to be an analyst for an international team, there would be test matches or there would be domestic games that you would be doing. It will be like 4 days of games that you have to sit at a stretch, and the enthusiasm that you have at the first ball of the game, the same should be at the 90th over, the 100th over of the game. So that is something that you need to develop, the habit of sitting down and having that level of concentration to see the whole entire game. Because the players switch on, switch off, you cannot do switch on, switch off.
Okay. Now I'm going to ask, so tomorrow, qualifier 1. So, like obviously this is not going to go out before that. So, what are your thoughts on the game for tomorrow? I mean, they've been doing pretty well. I mean, they've almost, I want to say, in a way, been like underdogs, because they also kind of start off slow and they've just been kind of getting points, but they've also not been a team that I feel like most teams have been really like talking about in a way. They do have great players as well. But yeah.
So basically, Brampton is some team that has gone under the radar. I would say. When the tournament started, when everybody was comparing teams, there were 2-3 better teams than that. One of the team is not in a competition anymore. The other team is still there, but they have been there. They have always been up for the competition. They have got 1 or 2 big names, but they have 1 or 2 underdogs also who are like, if you have seen the domestic circuit, you will know that these players can do well. But if you're looking at only international things, you won't find their names at all. So like you will have Nick Hobson over there, you will have Jack Jarvis, you would have Thomas Drake. A lot of people will not have heard about Thomas Drake. He's from Italy. So
and he's doing really well.
Yeah, he's a leading wicketkeeper for the tournament. So that is a team that has slipped under the radar for many, but I have never counted them out because, again, like we have been led by an Australian, that is a team led by Australian David Warner. So Australians have this habit of just getting into
swear.
and just having that competition, be ready whenever it's required.
Yeah.
So that is one thing that, so I'm actually looking forward to the competition. Our work and everything is done. The data is provided. Our team meetings and everything will be done, taken care of. But it's the game that I'm also looking forward to and looking forward to contributing as much as I can.
Okay. So who do you think are going to be some key players to watch out for?
Oof, tomorrow from our side.
Yeah.
Omaze for one with the new ball for sure. In regards to batting, the skipper till now has got a very low game. I mean, hasn't scored that much, but I wouldn't count him out because he always switches on. So.
And who are going to be the danger men for us in Brampton?
From that side, I would say obviously David Warner is there as a big name, but I'm looking somebody like Nick Hobson over there or George Muncy. Those are the two batters. Muncy is the one who's been good for.
Yeah, I think he's the second top run scorer.
And Andrew Ty is one bowler that he's gone for runs, but he's kept return taking wickets. So and he has got international experience also.
Okay, well let's see what happens tomorrow. I'm gonna hope the rain stays away because that's also something we can't even do anything about. We've been kind of unlucky with the rain situation and whatnot, but it's always great talking to you.
Same here.
And learning so much from you, and hopefully this year again we're gonna get the trophy.
Thank you for having me.